You are not failing at manifestation. You are succeeding at manifesting misery. That's not an insult. It's a diagnosis. The law of creation is impersonal, and the engine of focus works just as powerfully in reverse. If you don't understand the mechanics, you will inevitably build the future you dread. I built this channel for a specific person, someone with an analytical mind who tried manifestation and it didn't work. You know there's a real principle there, but you are tired of the mystical bullshit. You want systemic mechanics, not vibes. The mechanics I teach here come from years of studying how consciousness orders reality. I found 75 distinct patterns. I have tested them. They work. And I use pop culture as the testing ground, because when millions of people hold the same character in focus, you can watch the laws operate in real time. If you are looking for quick fixes or mystical reassurance, this is not for you. This is systemic mechanics. It requires work. Anakin Skywalker is a perfect example of Axiom 5. What you focus on becomes your reality. Watch what happens. So, this brings us to the first of the core laws, Axiom 5, one of the foundational laws of the Sovereign Leap, the manifestation mechanics framework. We'll see this pattern in every character analysis moving forward. The core statement is this: what you focus on becomes your reality. This is the master law. When you live from the end, when you hold the feeling of already having what you desire, the scarcity alarm shuts off. Internal mastery precedes external manifestation. This is the foundation for all manifestation mechanics. Your external reality is not random. It's a precise reflection of your sustained internal focus. Most people spend their lives focused on lack, what they don't have, what they fear losing, what's going wrong. That focus becomes the instruction reality receives. Reality delivers more lack. Ultimately, a character's power is not in doing more, it's in focusing differently. In Anakin, this law is visible in motion. To understand how this law operates, you have to look at the origin of Anakin's focus. His world is Tatooine, a desert planet. Scarcity. Servitude. Nothing changes here. But even inside bondage, the boy is broadcasting liberation. His external reality is a prison. His internal focus is escape. Where does this frequency come from? His mother installs it. She doesn't teach him helplessness. She teaches him purpose. When she says to Qui-Gon,
"He can help you. He was meant to help you,"
she is not observing an event. She is installing a belief. The universe provides aid. When she tells her son,
"You have brought hope to those who have none,"
she's defining his identity, not as a slave, as a liberator. This is the first instruction for his reality, and is planted through love, He isn't a victim of circumstance. He is a helper. He internalizes this completely. He doesn't say, I want to be a pilot.
I'm a pilot, you know, and someday I'm gonna fly away from this place.
He speaks from certainty, not hope. He dreams about being a Jedi and freeing the slaves. Power and responsibility are fused from the beginning. Freedom for himself is inseparable from freedom for others. Then the farewell happens. This is where the focus splits. His mother gives him the wisdom of acceptance.
It is time for you to let go.
I don't want things to change.
But you can't stop the change.
She is teaching release, but Anakin cannot hold it. Instead, he makes a promise.
I will come back and free you, Mom. I promise.
It's noble, but it binds him to what he's leaving behind. Focus now changed to guilt. From this moment, his power is forever tied to fear of loss. From here, every event only amplifies that same signal. The question is not whether the law works, it's whether he can control what he focuses on. Now he enters a new environment. The frequency he's broadcasting hits resistance. It's no longer the private focus of a boy on a desert planet. He is entering the collective field of the Jedi Order. The environment has changed, but the law has not. The Council isn't just a group of masters, it's a stabilized frequency network. Its dominant signal is control. Yoda sees the fear in Anakin but doesn't see his own contribution to it. He names the pattern. He doesn't see his own role in creating it. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
I sense much fear in you.
This is not moralism, it's a mechanical diagnosis. Fear is not an emotion to overcome. It's a point of focus that generates a predictable chain reaction. Once held, it gains momentum. Anakin's response is pure denial.
What does that got to do with anything?
He mistakes the diagnosis for performance anxiety. But the fear Yoda senses is older, the sustained frequency of attachment, the fear of loss he's carried since leaving his mother. Denying focus doesn't dissolve it, it amplifies it. Later, the Council meets privately. Watch what they do with that fear.
The boy is dangerous. They all sense it. Why can't you?
Clouded this boy's future is.
These are not neutral observations. They are projections. When multiple minds hold the same focus, the signal amplifies. They believe they are preventing darkness, but their sustained attention is the instruction set. They are constructing what they fear. They are broadcasting danger. This is the mechanical outcome of collective fear. Long before these meetings, Qui-Gon gave Anakin the law.
Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
This was not advice. This was the mechanic. Qui-Gon saw what the Council ignored. The internal state is the cause. The future, its effect. Destiny is not controlled by fear or hope. It's controlled by where you place sustained focus. And so, the feedback loop locks in. The Council fears what he might become. He fears what he might lose. Both are broadcasts of lack and danger. Different targets, identical frequency. Both are broadcasting the same thing now. The instruction is clear. Disaster is coming. Reality simply mirrors the dominant broadcast. And the dominant broadcast is now fear. Years later, the childhood attachment returns. Anakin begins having nightmares about his mother's suffering. These are not just dreams. These are mental rehearsals. He is using his focus to run simulations of disaster over and over. Every night, he holds his attention on the frequency of her pain. This is a sustained broadcast. He's not passively receiving a premonition. He's actively feeding the old frequency. Attachment. Fear. He is training himself in the state of loss before it happens. The sustained focus on the problem is the instruction set. Reality hasn't delivered the form yet, but he's holding the frequency consistently. Every night. Same focus. Same fear. His conversation with Padme about dictatorship confirms this change. He says it will work because his entire focus is now on preventing outcomes he fears. He's willing to sacrifice any principle for the illusion of control. So he returns to Tatooine. After 10 years, the external reality catches up. It mirrors the signal he's been broadcasting. His sustained focus on the fear of his mother's suffering materializes. Reality delivers the exact form that matches his dominant frequency. This is the mechanical, impersonal law of creation. What you focus on becomes your reality, especially when that focus is charged with the intense emotional energy of fear. Years of mental rehearsal. Now the form appears. Her death breaks him. The moment she dies, the helper frame collapses. But the energy of his focus doesn't just disappear. It inverts. This is the totalitarian ego's signature move. It takes your creative power and aims it at what you fear, then tells you the disaster happened to you. It didn't. You built it. The power he once directed toward freeing slaves becomes a broadcast of rage. The focus on saving is replaced by a focus on punishment. He is still a powerful creator, but now he is creating from a frequency of hate. Listen to his confession to Padme.
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead. Every single one of them.
He is describing the results of acting from a misaligned state. He believes the slaughter is a reaction to his pain. The truth is the reverse. This slaughter was the creation of his internal frequency. He was broadcasting hate, and reality delivered a world that confirmed it. At her gravesite, he makes a vow. This locks the loop in place.
But I promise, I won't fail again.
This sounds like a step toward responsibility, but it's the same program in disguise. His focus is not on "I will protect", it's on "I will not fail". The core of the broadcast is still lack, failure, and a desperate need to control. He has learned nothing about the mechanics of his own power. He has only decided to apply the same broken focus with more force. From here, he serves the fear, not the vision. Anakin begins to have dreams of Padme's death. This is not a new problem. It's the original broadcast of fear, re-established with a new target. His focus is once again locked on the potential for loss. This sustained emotional rehearsal instructs reality to organize around that possibility. He uses imagination, the mind simulator, to rehearse the outcome he dreads. The energy he's broadcasting is not love or protection. It's a powerful, sustained frequency of "I am going to lose what is mine". Palpatine exploits this exact state. He doesn't offer a philosophical argument. He offers a mechanical solution for a person broadcasting a specific need. Palpatine recognizes that Anakin's focus is of acquiring control, not achieving internal mastery. So he offers him the story of Darth Plagueis, a narrative about external power over life and death. The promise to save Padme is the perfect bait for a mind already fixated on control as the only answer to fear. Anakin is not being seduced by the dark side. He is moving toward the only system that promises to fulfill the instruction of his dominant frequency. The confrontation with Windu is the moment this sustained focus determines his physical action. His choice is not a sudden betrayal. It's the mechanical outcome of a frequency held for years. In that moment, the Jedi act from their own fear, the fear of losing the Republic, the fear of Palpatine's power. Anakin acts from his fear of losing Padme. They are all broadcasting from the same fundamental frequency of loss and a desperate need to control the outcome. His decision to intervene is simply the physical manifestation of the signal he's been holding. Two opposing forces, operating from the same vibration of fear, co-create the collapse they are trying to prevent. The result is the direct and final fulfillment of the law. When he confronts Padme, his focus on attachment has fully inverted into a broadcast of possession. His need to control her is the same frequency that drove him to want control over life and death. When she resists, that frequency manifests as physical action. The very fear of losing her is what causes him to destroy her. Reality is no longer just mirroring his internal state, it's embodying it. He has created, in physical form, the exact outcome he dedicated his life to preventing. This is the ultimate feedback from the universe, confirming his dominant broadcast. The world reflects not what he wanted, but what he was most consistently focused on. His identity is now completely fused with this frequency of fear. When a single focus is held this long and with this much emotional intensity, it stops being a temporary state and becomes a baseline. It hardens. The galaxy itself now begins to reorganize around this new, stabilized instruction. Control, fear, and the prevention of loss become the organizing principles of the Empire. The boy who was programmed to be a helper has, through a sustained misuse of focus, become the man who must dominate everything just to feel safe. Here are the mechanics of Axiom 5. What you focus on becomes your reality. This is the master law. Living from the end deactivates the scarcity alarm. Internal mastery precedes external manifestation. Living from the end is the mechanical process of inhabiting the state of completion before you see any external evidence. You are not hoping for an outcome. You are occupying the frequency of it already being done. The scarcity alarm is the emotional signal you broadcast when your focus is on what you lack. It's the feeling of, I don't have it yet. That feeling is itself a powerful frequency, and it acts as an instruction that destabilizes your desired signal and creates more not having. Internal mastery precedes external manifestation is the simple sequence of cause and effect. Your internal work, your sustained point of focus, is the cause. The external world you experience is the effect. To change the effect, you must first gain mastery over the cause. Imagine you are a dreamer, standing before an infinite black canvas. Whatever you focus on, holding your awareness with attention and feeling, begins to materialize on the canvas. If you focus on a nightmare, the canvas paints a nightmare. If you focus on a beautiful landscape, the canvas paints that. Most dreamers focus on the nightmare while wishing for the landscape. They stare at the monsters on the canvas, current reality, and say, I do not want this. But their focus is still on the monsters. The canvas obeys focus, not wishes. This law appears everywhere. Watch my deep dive analysis on Lord Business, where his focus on perfect control backfired. And in my deep dive analysis on Hinako, from Silent Hill F, she focused on powerlessness. Reality delivered a nightmare that reflected it back. Same axiom, different targets, identical mechanics. This isn't metaphorical, it's mechanical. Living from the end means you deliberately close your eyes to the monsters currently on your canvas. You stop giving them your attention. Instead, you hold attention on the finished landscape until the canvas updates to match the dominant signal. The delay between shifting your focus and the canvas updating is the test of mastery. This interacts with other laws. One of the most important is Axiom 7, emotional primacy. I showcase this axiom in my deep dive analysis of Emmet. When emotion is the engine of reality, your dominant feeling determines your reality. Focus alone is not enough. Emotion is the fuel that charges this signal. A focus on fear, like the one we saw in Anakin, is charged with intense, powerful emotion. It creates a strong, clear signal for disaster. A focus on a desired state, when stabilized, with the feeling of its completion, gratitude, peace, relief, becomes an equally powerful signal for success. That's why fear creates its object and peace sustains it. Emotion decides which version of the image solidifies. The critical misapplication. This is not about ignoring reality. The correct protocol is a three-step process. Acknowledge, redirect, and hold. Anakin was indeed a slave. Acknowledging that wasn't resistance. His power came from holding focus on freedom, not from denying the existence of his chains. Acknowledging the fact of his situation was neutral. The error was keeping his focus chained to the problem. And this same law that shaped a galaxy applies to ordinary life. You can acknowledge depth without focusing on depth. You acknowledge the number as a piece of data, then you redirect your sustained focus to the state of solvency. You are not focusing on escape. You are focusing on arrival. This is also not about willpower. You're not fighting your negative thoughts. You're exercising internal sovereignty, the only power that exists. You redirect attention. No one else can do this for you. This is not pretending. You're not lying to yourself that the monsters on the canvas don't exist. You're simply choosing not to give them your creative energy. And this is not a spiritual bypass. This is about redirecting attention deliberately. This is about choosing what receives your creative energy. This is about acknowledging reality, then focusing on the frequency of its solution. You're not ignoring a real problem. You're acknowledging it and then deliberately focusing on the frequency of its solution. The mechanics are precise and they are impersonal. Living from the end deactivates the scarcity alarm. Internal mastery precedes external manifestation. Reality doesn't test belief, it mirrors focus, building in form whatever you sustain in a state. You know this law is operating when your sustained focus keeps reappearing as your reality. You talk about luck, and you get more luck. You worry about time, and you keep running out of it. You focus on how others don't respect you, and you keep finding new proof. Every repeating pattern in your world is a mirror of what your attention rehearses. The external loop is never random. It's feedback. Reality keeps replaying the topic you refuse to master internally. The misalignment shows up most clearly when you are constantly checking whether your manifestation is working yet. That moment of checking is not neutral. It's an act of focus on lack. It's a broadcast of "it's not here." You find yourself rehearsing the problem more than you rehearse the solution. You talk more about what's missing than what's materializing. The anxiety, the stress, the impatience you feel. These are all scarcity alarm signals. They are proof that you are broadcasting, not yet. The correction is simple, but is not easy. You have to stop observing the outcome and start rehearsing the completion. The test is not whether it shows up. The test is whether you can stay stable before it does. For the next 24 hours, catch yourself focusing on lack, what you don't have, what could go wrong, what is not working. Each time, pause. Close your eyes for 10 seconds. Feel what it would feel like if the outcome were already complete. Don't try to believe it. Just feel the relief of it being done. Do this 5 to 10 times today. This is training focus. What you focus on becomes what you live in. Once you understand that, reality stops being random and starts being responsive. You're no longer reacting to circumstance. You are broadcasting instruction. Qui-Gon told him the truth. Your focus determines your reality. Anakin followed that instruction with absolute precision. He just focused in the wrong direction. He focused on fear, and he built a reality ruled by it. He focused on control and lost everything he tried to hold. He never stopped manifesting. He only reversed the current. His destruction was not fate. It was perfect obedience to the law. The real tragedy, not that he fell to the dark side, but that he proved the law works, no matter how unconsciously you use it. The universe didn't punish him. It cooperated. It always cooperates. Most people miss this. You're not failing at manifestation. You're succeeding at manifesting misery. Just like him. Every time you obsess over what could go wrong, rehearse betrayal, or relieve old pain, you are building the next version of it. You're giving the canvas new instructions. Reality doesn't filter for morality, justice, or worthiness. It builds what's held most often, with the strongest emotion. The only question is, what are you holding now? Focus on fear, and you will create reasons to stay afraid. Focus on control, and you will meet endless reminders of chaos. Focus on the completed state, the version of you that already has what you are asking for, and your reality will begin to reorganize around it. The force obeys the same principle consciousness does. It follows focus. Run this for 24 hours. Comment. Did you notice how often you were focusing on lack? I'll respond within 48 hours. What you focus on becomes your reality. The only variable left is what you will choose to broadcast next.